Hi there, guys. I'm TotalMK, as you guys know, and I'm here doing a live chat with Infinite Retro from YouTube and Chris from Kamidogu.com, another MK webmaster. This chat was actually Chris's idea to talk about a few issues lately about the Mortal Kombat ban in Australia, obviously, and which has now been appealed. And we just wanted to give our opinions on it. I'd received a lot of requests to do a video, and I was thinking about it, and then Chris suggested this, and I thought this is a better idea. So I just thought we'd talk about what happened, where we heard the news at the time. So start with Chris.
I was basically updating my site, and I went on Facebook, and I had a message from someone saying, I heard Mortal Kombat was banned, and I was thinking to myself, is this a joke? What's going on? So I checked some other sites out, and I didn't think it was real until I sort of hit GameSpot and some of the bigger sites, IGN, and I thought to myself, am I dreaming? Am I awake? Is this wrong? Is this right? Like, what's going on? And I didn't know what to think. I was thinking, what do I do? Is this something that's going to change? Is it a rumor? I just didn't know. What about you, Retro?
Yeah, I mean, because I do a lot of Mortal Kombat through my channel, I get a lot of people contacting me through my channel, and there's no doubt probably Luke does as well. And I was getting PMs, and like it had been a bad week that week anyway. I thought this can't not be happening. Like, after how many years we've been going through, all these little, test games, I like to call them, that Ed Boon's been going through, and finally we get, we get the most awesome Mortal Kombat game about to drop on our shores, and then Australia just goes, we suck. No, we're not letting you have it. And I'm just like, well, you remember the video? Like, I just went off, so, just shocking. So, what about you, Luke?
I was actually at work at the time. A lot of the time I'm at work. I work Monday to Friday, so I used to be able to watch everything unfold on the internet as news was released and that, and now I've just got to check my phone when I've got a free moment. And I had a message on Twitter or YouTube that said MK's been banned in Australia, and I've been getting those messages like randomly since they announced the game. But people just assuming because our government's so shit, our rating system's so fucked up, that whoops, put the F-bomb there. But it's going to be banned. And I said, no, it's not. Straight away replied. And then I thought, I'll check that, because I usually always check everything. And then I saw all these press releases about it. And then I rang like the OFLC straight away, which is like the government or the classification board in Australia, which, is in charge of that thing, and told them to email me the reason why straight away, email me the press release. And as soon as I got it, I sprinted home pretty much and uploaded straight away. And yeah, I was having a bad day already, and then there was that, which made it worse. So it wasn't, very cool. And I know there's been a lot of I don't know which site, but there's a news site somewhere, and the first user comment was TotalMK is going to be pissed, and I don't even know where that's from. And I was getting messages. I've never been so messaged before in all my life. I was getting emails, Twitter posts. I had about, over that weekend, 7 or 8 pages of MK was banned in Australia. Where's your rant video and all this shit, And then I had people in real life even coming up to me like, dude, where's your rant video, like. And I was just like, I was actually sort of, I've been talking to a lot of people saying I don't think it'll be banned here because it's fantasy violence, and I've never really gone near it, but this time around it didn't work out too well.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, well, because this is the second take, thanks to certain foreign internet problems. But you read out. We'll talk about games, like I can show games that I own right here on camera. But read the Bulletstorm thing there.
Yeah.
What they're banning MK for. I mean, most MK fans will be reading this, seeing that will understand and know what the Australian board have already come up with as to why it's being banned. So read out the Bulletstorm thing then.
Yeah, sure. Before I read out the ESRB rating or the reason or classification for Bulletstorm in America, and when you read all that or listen, I'm about to read it. It sounds exactly like I'm talking about Mortal Kombat here. So I'm just going to go ahead and read it out now. If I can just find it. Okay, here it is. Okay, so Cliffy B posted this on Twitter or something, or linked to it. I actually thought it was quite funny. So, am I breaking up there, or?
Oh, you're right.
No, you're right, mate.
Okay, here we go. This is a first-person shooter in which players assume the role of a space pirate who must escape a planet populated by mutant cannibals. Players use futuristic machine guns, shotguns, magnum revolvers, assault rifles, and chain guns to perform over-the-top kills that dismember and decapitate foes. Injured enemies emit large sprays of blood that stain the ground and surrounding walls. Specialty kills, i.e. skill shots, represent the most intense instances of violence. Enemies can be dismembered with explosives impaled on spikes and drilled into walls, resulting in body parts breaking into pieces. During the course of the game, players can consume alcohol and kill enemies in order to receive an intoxicated skill shot. The screen turns blurry during these sequences. The dialogue contains numerous jokes and comments that reference sexual acts, venereal diseases, and having sex with one's mother. E.g., guess I know where the old gal got that limp. The names of some skill shots are infused with sexual innuendo, e.g. gag reflex, rear entry, dildo, mile high club. One skill shot, i.e. fire in the hole, allows players to shoot at enemies, expose buttocks. Language such as the F word, the S word, the P word, and the C word can be heard in dialogue. So that was their description of the rating for Bulletstorm. And when you hear about all that dismemberment and blood and impaling and all that, that's stuff that's in Mortal Kombat. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's what Mortal Kombat's about. And this is on our shelves. Here it is. Look, Bulletstorm. I got it right here. You see that?
Yeah.
There's the rating. MA 15+. Strong violence and coarse language. Gaming experience may change online. That's exactly.
Hang on. All right, hang on. It doesn't mention anything about
All the other stuff.
alcohol, right?
Anything about alcohol on there?
The things that Mortal Kombat does not.
If you're over 15, you're already a drunken idiot.
Yeah, well, Mortal Kombat doesn't have alcohol consumption.
That's right. It doesn't have any reference about having sex with one's mother.
Yeah, I mean, so it's just about the gore and fatalities, which do just, it's like watching like a ridiculous horror film or a slasher film where it's so absurd that, yes, it sort of makes you go, oh, you know, but still, now, here's a question. Did they say anything about the X-rays in the classification?
They did.
They did?
They basically described the most violent parts of the game. So they described X-ray mode. You can go into X-ray mode and you can see internal organs shatter and blah, blah, blah. And they described the fatalities, you know, like Quan Chi rips his leg off, copious blood sprays are noted. Then he beats the victim with the severed leg, you know, which we've all seen in MK4 anyway, which is on our shelves and is classified MA 15+. And that was back in, what, 1999?
Yeah. Well, Mortal Kombat Armageddon had custom fatalities.
Yeah, right? You could rip the brain out in Armageddon. Rip the brain out. You could rip the femur bones out. You could rip lungs out, hearts out, everything. And they suddenly say that this one's too realistic. Bullshit. What about MK1, 2, and 3? You know?
Yeah, what were you saying about the graphics? Yeah.
Well, those are real people. You can't get more real than real people. And they say this is too realistic. But when you think about it, they've taken a step away from realism by having computer-generated characters.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter if you play Heavy Rain, one of the games they say is the most realistic. It doesn't matter if you play God of War. It doesn't matter if you play Dead Space 2 or Bulletstorm. Yeah. You still know you're playing a game. It still doesn't look that real at all.
I think the other main issue as well is back in the 90s, there were no violent games like this. And you could walk into an arcade and the machine would be there in all its glory. the blood would be there for anyone to see. There was no curtain, there was no wall.
Yep.
And yet, we're mature gamers, we get all these violent movies now, like Saw and all those crazy ones, and we're being denied, a game that we should have the choice whether or not to play.
Yeah. Now, here's
I just want to add something. Sorry.
You go, man.
Sorry. Chris was saying there's no curtains. There actually was with MK4.
Yeah, MK4 there were curtains.
Only MK4 had it though.
Yeah, but before that, 3 and before.
I remember a kid came across once. He was bugging me. This little kid was bugging me. I can do all the moves. I was waiting to play the game. I go, hey kid, you can't even walk under that curtain. So beat it. And then I got the time zone guy to get rid of him, because he's just hanging around being a pain in the ass, But the curtain was stupid because it wrapped around the screen. They wanted to block the screen out, but if you're a little kid, all you have to do is walk straight under it. Like,
yeah.
Wow.
so I mean, I usually import my games just because they're cheaper right now. But Dead Space 2, right? Now that in this country that is MA 15+, right? Now I import from the UK, which has an R rating, right? Now you'll see here, it is rated R18 for audiences in the UK. Now that is a quandary, to be perfectly honest, and that is being sold in this country, as is this game. Rated R, but it gets through. You've got a mass amount of people or zombies on the screen. Wolfenstein was another game with an R rating. Dead Rising 2. Now Wolverine was an excessively violent, decapitative type game, and yet it's still sold in this country, as you can tell by the rating system, as is Dead to Rights 2, where you can actually take control of a dog and maul people and whatnot as well. So there are examples right there of the flawed system of the rating system. And to finalise, there's a Wii game that came out, I think in the last week or last few days, called Wii Care, which Ubisoft have said was made for adults, which has spankings, strip teasers, and partner swappings. But they let the game come through. Yeah, I know you'd love that. They let the game come through because the graphics on the screen were all cartoony. And who was it? I was reading someone's video or something was saying that you even use the Wiimote as a dildo. I think at one point. And yet it's rated PG. As long as I'm there with the child that's suitable for that age, they can play this game. That's disgusting. I'm sorry, that's terrible.
The way our rating system works is that those acts are sexual. You don't actually see anything pornographic or anything. It doesn't matter. You can talk about dildos, whatever. That's a PG environment. But yeah, when you think about that, such a game that's based on all that sexual stuff, and you think about Mortal Kombat and all these games we've got anyway, God of War, they're all on par or worse. I honestly think Bulletstorm's a lot worse. Shoving a grenade up a guy's ass, going fire in the hole, and then watching fire shoot out his asshole. I mean, it's funny. Don't get me wrong. I think that's great, But when you think about that Mortal Kombat, come on,
God of War 3 to me, I found more impactful than a Mortal Kombat game because maybe it was the setting. When you play Bulletstorm or Mortal Kombat, you expect that over the top. But with God of War, when you're ripping off Helios's head, every time I do that, I'm sitting there cringing, and you're seeing the neck stretch and then crack and split and stuff. You just, it's incredibly detailed, both visually and audio wise. And yet, I'd love to sit down with the people that let that game into this country and say, did you just fall asleep through this bit? This actually depicts incredibly graphic violence, and yet got through. No problem. Not a question raised.
And the thing, our country is it's really inconsistent too. With nudity in games, have you ever noticed tits in games aren't allowed to be shown really? But when you think about God of War, it got through in God of War. It seems like because it was part of the whole Greek mythology. I'm a god. I've got all these sex sluts. and they're all topless and full nudity. I couldn't believe it. I was like, but every other game. What about Leisure Suit Larry? Leisure Suit Larry got banned in Australia, and Leisure Suit Larry is all about sex and all about sex games. So We Dare's allowed, which is sex games, but Leisure Suit Larry's not.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense. And this is the problem I have with our rating system, is that it's inconsistent. I'm fine with having a rating system, but we need the R rating for one, and we need consistent ratings. They've never banned a Mortal Kombat before, and their reasons for banning this one I've got in my hand right here, and these are on the shelf today.
I think it's also sad that this is not only is it the first Mortal Kombat ban, but we're the only Western country that has it banned. You can go to any other country around the globe and pick this game up.
Yeah.
And I think, Australia is a great country. We live here. We know all about it. But a lot of people have actually been mocking the country and actually laughing at us as a result. We, in a way, we look stupid because we let these games like We Dare in, but yet when it comes to Mortal Kombat, which is quite clearly just fantasy violence, it doesn't get through.
Yeah.
There's been games that have been banned. I'll give you an example of how inconsistent a rating system is. A lot of you guys out there will remember Postal, where you play as a postal worker, go around killing innocent people. They beg for their lives. Please don't kill me, please. You can kill them. You can kill yourself even and say, I regret nothing. Bang. It was a cool game. They banned that here because you could kill innocent people. So what about Carmageddon?
What about Modern Warfare 2?
You can run over old ladies in that.
The airport scene, that's a
What
classic.
about Grand Theft Auto? You can walk down the street and blow people's heads off.
You can run them
the
over.
reason that game doesn't get banned is because people would just they would get flooded with just hate mail.
Yeah.
And it's because Mortal Kombat, it's big, but it's not that big here. It doesn't have as much power as something like Grand Theft Auto or some of these other mainstream titles. So they let it through.
Well,
And they've done it with other games too, like on Dreamcast. You've got do you remember Jet Set Radio or Jet Grind Radio?
Yeah.
The game where you play skateboard and graffiti walls and that, and it tells you how to graffiti the wall, and it's like a challenge. Like left, right. They banned that Mark Echo's Getting Up here because you could graffiti walls.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I feel very optimistic though. I mean, every time I talk about MK in any fashion, I always try and put the petition in. It's just another way of showing, whoever gets to see it, that there are gamers out there who want that choice. Mature gamers. And Jesus Christ signed it, so obviously even the Lord believes in Mortal Kombat in Australia. But, on a serious note, Mortal Kombat is a massive franchise, and Warner Brothers is a massive company. So, considering that they're looking at hiring the guy that allowed Alien vs. Predator and Fear 2 uncensored and released in this country, I think it could be positive. I think if it does stay banned, I think there's going to be a massive fallout from this, because of the size of
I actually hadn't heard that. Can you elaborate on that a bit? I'm actually a hot guy.
Oh, well, I've been told, since the banning, I've had various people come to me and say, Alien vs. Predator and Fear 2. Fear 2 was part of Warner Brothers. Alien vs. Predator was through Sega. I thought AVP was first Warner Brothers, but it's through Sega. And they said that, these games were overruled and released uncensored on the release date within this country. And so I did some investigating into it. And so recently, when Warner Brothers said they were actually going to appeal it, they've actually said that, we are looking to hiring this particular solicitor to handle our case. So they're obviously pretty aware of, of obviously what's happened in the past and the very positive possibility of it actually getting through and being okay. So, and I think because of the release of We Dare, it's probably given them more ammunition than what they thought, what they realized, because all of a sudden it's like, adult gamers are not allowed to make the choice, but it's okay for children to be exposed to this kind of, you know, especially sexuality at an early age, you know, promoting this sort of promiscuous behaviour. I mean, that's, you know, like you ask any parent with children, and they're going to be like, hell no, I'm not letting my child go over that person's place if that game is over there. There's no way that would happen. Trust me, I'm a parent. So, you know, it's very, you know, I think there's a very good case for them to put forward and hopefully win. And by, I just want the game, you know, like it's Mortal Kombat, you know, it's, my God, that's oxygen to me, you know, so.
Same.
I think it's the same sort of point that you made on your channel, Infinite, when you said that, you know, it's not just about Mortal Kombat, it's about the rights of people. They should be able to play the games they want. And, you know, at the end of the day, we're all adults. The ratings are there as a guide, but we should be the ones making the choice, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
like I said, the inconsistency bothers me in our system. But I'm really, you know what? I think it's hard to say if the appeal will be successful. I've got a feeling it will be. I just got a feeling, but like,
yeah, same.
I can't say because like our government is so unpredictable. It's like they could say this game cannot be allowed classification in Australia because it's in a green box, and games with a green box are offensive. It is by the decision of the board that games with a green box cannot be sold within Australia. Like you could almost see that happening. It seems to be that stupid.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people, this is what I get a lot of when I do my rant videos. I get a lot of people going, "What are you complaining for? Just import it. Don't you import your games?" It's like, all right, okay, listen up. Oh, sorry, effing fire trucking.
Don't worry, Christian people.
Whatever. Infinite Retro's back on again. When it was said that it was banned, they also mentioned that imports were going to be watched. Now, generally, if most people import, particularly from a lot of the UK suppliers, you know, it's never marked. It never says this is the game or this is the movie or this is whatever within the box, right? So customs would probably have a massive job going through every single item simply to just flush out the few people that are going to import. The other thing too that people don't realise is that when you import, you then have to make allowances to buy the DLC from the region that you got the game from. So if you get it from the UK or the US, bloody hell, I'm going to be buying any DLC that comes out for this game. I don't care if they, you know, I don't care what they bring out. I'm just buying it all.
Shang Tsung's underpants.
Oh, I'm there, man. But don't tell anyone. Oh, crap, it's recording. But yeah, I mean, that's, you know, so then you've got to try and get or figure out a way to then, you know, get credit for that particular store in that particular region. And you know, like, we shouldn't have to go through that. You know what I mean? Like, we've already pointed out examples of games that made it through with no problem, you know. And it's interesting, too, that some games that were censored that got allowed through were later patched. I wonder if they could actually release Mortal Kombat without the fatalities and then patch them in after. That would be very interesting because they've done that. They did that with Grand Theft Auto 4. It was released, I think, censored, with, I think it was something to do with the prostitutes or stripping, and then they patched the uncensored full game in. So I'm just wondering if that would actually happen. So,
you know, that's interesting. There's probably a loophole for them to do that sort of thing because when you look at games, which game did I see it? Oh yeah, Bulletstorm. Any game that's online always has a clause: gaming experience may change online. And the reason is they can't rate it. They can't rate online play because anything could happen. So you know what?
Yep.
I'll tell you guys a story. I'm very close with my local EB Games, and in Australia, everything must have a rating sticker on it to be sold. And EB Games actually import a lot of American games and just put it on the shelf with a sticker on the box.
Yeah.
They do that to save money. And you guys remember World of Warcraft, was it Frozen Throne, I think it was? They had that on the shelf with no sticker. And they said, guarantee that gets pulled. And after seeing it 1, 2, 3 months later, it got pulled. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Every EB Games, they pulled them off the shelf. And then I think they adjusted it to say game experience may change while online.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Well, I mean, it's,
But the whole question is, why do we have to go to these lengths? I mean, we will get the game. If we import it though, everyone will be enjoying it on launch day, and we're going to have to wait 2 or 3 weeks for postage. Then when it finally arrives, if anything comes out, we have to go to all this trouble, like you were saying, to get DLC. How's online play going to be? Is that going to be, international? Is it going to be limited to the region that we purchased it from? There's all these unknowns. But I think the real thing that hits home with us is we're obviously doing this video because we're giant fans. And why should we have to wait and go to all this trouble for a game as adults that we should be allowed to play?
Well, I'll tell you something I interestingly read the other day. A lot of people say you can just import the game. That's true. But did you know if you import a game into Australia that's banned, they take it away?
Yeah.
If they open that packet, bye-bye. And they really normally only stop people importing a large amount of games. So I've actually got a plan in place. I'm getting a few tournament editions from Amazon.com. I've got this whole plan. It's just fallen into place today. I'm going to order 2 tournament editions from Amazon, ship them to a friend in America. And then my cousin's going to visit that friend in June. So I have to wait a few months. And then he's going to ship me the arcade sticks back. But I'm going to get him to take the games out of the tournament boxes. Take them out. And just ship me the sticks. So I got the arcade sticks. They can't say anything, right? Yeah. And then I get him to ship the games separately. If I lose them, whatever, I lose the games. That's no biggie. But I still got the arcade sticks. But I have to go through all this crap just to get the game. Because they're going to be big boxes. Customers are going to look in them. They're going to look inside those boxes.
Yeah. Yeah. Just because we're all, a bit down about it. One thing I wanted to talk about in this podcast was what's something unique about this new Mortal Kombat that really has just, sold you either when you first saw it or heard about it or whatever. Like Chris, for you, what was it about this new Mortal Kombat that you saw and you went, my God, yes, this is it. This is the effing game I want, man.
Well, when I first found the trailer for it, we'd all played MK versus DC, and while that was enjoyable, it had been such a long time since we had a really, really decent Mortal Kombat game. And when I saw this, I thought, this game has a bit of potential, let's see what happens. And there wasn't any news for a long time, but then I took a risk and I went to E3 and I met Luke there for the first time. And when I got to that tower, that castle thing, I stood there and I thought to myself, wow, as a fan, this is amazing. I went into the very first presentation they had that day, and Ed Boon's standing there. And I'm sitting there thinking, holy crap, it's Ed Boon. This is insane. So anyway, I sit there. He welcomed us to the room. The demo starts, and I think to myself, MK vs DC was decent, but, this game looks pretty good. Let's see what happens. Yep. Once the demo started rolling, and I started watching it, I had this sadistic smile on my face thinking, this is crazy. And the thing that really stood out for me at first was definitely the X-rays. I think when you saw them on the screen, I think the thing that really made me happy was to hear all the people laughing and cringing at them. And then at the end we had the fatality video, which they have never officially released, but there's a few cam jobs out there on YouTube. When I saw that, I was like, absolutely, this is a return to form. And when I finally got to play the game out back with Luke, it's like exactly as everyone describes it. You've got MK2 wrapped up in an incredibly deep fighting system with Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 speed. And I remember even with Luke when he started spamming fireballs from Johnny Cage at me, the little things that you remember from the old games that actually maintain those. I think that's what really brought it home for me.
What about you, Luke?
Well, I remember I actually got to the castle late because Mortal Kombat had been up the other end of E3 where the fatality banner and that was. And that's where I was. And I'm trying to find the pavilion. I'm like, where the hell is it? And then I realized I'm in the wrong area. So I head up to the castle. So I was actually late. I missed the first presentation. I'm spewing. and that's the only one that Ed Boon gave. So Chris was really lucky. He got to hear the Ed Boon MK9 presentation. So I got to hear Hector give it, and I got to hear Sean Himrick give it. And I saw Chris come out of the castle like just after I met him. He'd just seen the presentation because he saw the first one when I arrived, and he's like, and I was in line, and he's like, "Man, you got to go in, man. You just got to go watch it, man." And I could see it on his face, and I'm like, "Holy shit, what's in this castle, man? What the hell?" You know? I could see it was on his face. That true joy. It wasn't fake. Do you know what I mean? Like something awesome, and like we'd all seen the trailer, and the trailer looked beautiful. But what you saw in the dungeon was just incredible. Like Chris said, you got to see the X-ray. And they built up to it, like they showed the special moves and the mechanics, and then they're like, "Oh, and, you know, if you save up your bar, you can do this X-ray attack." And when they showed it, everyone in the room just like cheered and clapped and cringed and made all this noise. And you can actually hear that in one of my E3, the last part of my last E3 video. I got an audio recording of it. If you go and find it in there, you'll hear it. You can hear the crowd, all this noise and just. Incredible. And like when we got to play it, like, you know, I'm sort of, you know, I just sort of thought I'd do that, you know, like spam fireballs and be like old school a bit, and like I like to sort of test people, see like, oh, you know, can you get out of this? You know, I like to see to gauge players and stuff. Like I've always done it, and like people say, "Oh, you're so cheap," but it's just to see if they can get out of that. Do you know what I mean? Because a good player knows how to get out of any attack, whether it be fireball, spam, fly kicks, air punches, trips. They know what to do, you know, and it felt so old school doing that. And Chris worked it out, you know, worked out a way to get around it, and we were just mucking around like that. And that's why it felt like MK2 for me. MK2 and MK3 with the combo system.
I think MK2 for me is the most special game that I've ever played in the series of the 2D era. And in a way, it sort of brought me back to my childhood where, you know, I have books where I used to cut magazine clippings and I made all this stuff, and that's what really got the passion back again for me. And when I played it, like I always say to people, you've seen trailers, you know, you think it looks good, this and that, but until you actually get your controller, put the game on your screen in front of you and give it a go, you will really, really feel something special. It plays like none of the other ones. In terms, it almost feels like the same team isn't making it just by how polished it is. You can really tell how much difference Warner Brothers have made to this game.
You know, I just got a really brilliant idea. The demo comes out this Wednesday everywhere but Australia. So, you know, it'd be cool if we could get some of our YouTube fans, all of us, to film their reaction after their first game.
Yeah,
on YouTube.
Absolutely.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
So you, any guys watching out there, you go have your first game and then just play one game and then come back and then just talk to the camera and tell me what you think.
Post video responses. I think all of us really want to see, because me and Luke, we played it, you know, almost a year ago now. We know what it feels like, but that was like an early build. But we want to know how you guys feel like when you guys sit down with it, and I want to know how you feel like if you have the same feeling that we did, because it's amazing.
Yeah, I'll tell you what sold me, right? And because I mean I haven't played it yet. I'm hoping to play it this week. Had a very not a big number, but a very nice number of people offer to, you know, help me get the demo. So hopefully I'll be able to do it. But when I saw the very first special move that sold me on the game, I didn't give a f*** if the whole game was pus. Sorry about the swearing, but Scorpion's leg takedown. Now that is a move that I was just lethal at using in Mortal Kombat 2 because no one else would use it.
No, right? I used it.
Yeah, jump kick, leg takedown, or you can punches or whatever, or you throw a harpoon and then they're going to try to do something and bam, leg takedown. You know, like
then
and that move, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's not part of a combo. It's come back. And then I saw Reptile's force ball, and I'm just like, that's it. That's it, man.
Sub-Zero's ground freeze.
The only special move I'm waiting for is Cabal's ground saw. If they have that thing back in there,
that would be the best.
I mean, like that, you know, I talked to another huge MK fan of mine, and that is an awesome combo move. In Mortal Kombat 3, not Ultimate, because in Ultimate they nerfed him big time. In Ultimate MK3, you could pop him up, do the ground saw, dash, you know, like it was just mad, like the combos with that. So, yeah, special moves to me are a big, they're an identifier to me of the character, you know, because that's just, you know, everyone knows how to do the special moves. You can't tell me no Mortal Kombat fan, when no one's looking, hasn't sat there and done the little freeze move or tried to emulate the force ball or whatever in the lounge room in front of the game or whatever. You know, like, it's just so integral, and they've gone back to that.
Have you actually noticed in one of the previous demos, that challenge tower, you know, in the old games used to freeze twice and Sub-Zero himself would freeze? I noticed in that video, yeah, when you freeze and then you freeze again, they just shatter rather than him freezing himself.
No, no double eyes backfire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
I thought that was,
bring it back.
it was a good touch, because there's nothing more annoying than sort of...
I like double eyes backfire.
But you look silly.
That was the only. I did an MK1 retrospective. That was the only move in Mortal Kombat 1 that was a disadvantage move.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
If you did 2 freezes, and it was very clever, because that was a solution to spamming, even though all the other characters could spam. But spamming freezes would be pretty bad, because, you know.
I used to love freezing people in mid-teleport with Raiden.
Yeah.
It was always so cool when you get a mid-teleport man.
Yeah, it was cool because it was all half and like there at the waist, you know. Oh man, the challenge tower. We should talk about the challenge tower, eh?
All right, yep, all right.
Man, what did you guys think of the video?
That's
insane. I watched that shit on my phone, man.
I thought it was very different. I liked seeing. I think the problem with some of the previous games is there just wasn't enough content to keep you occupied. Like, the game itself was good, but with Deception you had that huge conquest mode, and although it was kind of, you know, the voice acting was crappy and the graphics were crappy, it was just so much fun to sort of run around and do all the little silly missions. And I think a lot of that, although they tried something different with the Armageddon, a lot of that magic was lost. Whereas with this one here, you know, on that what's it called, the classification document, they said, you know, story mode's 15 hours or so, which is amazing. They also said, you know, well, these other videos showed that you have these, you know, huge challenge tower to get through, and again the crypt is confirmed. So you've got all these little things that all add up, and collecting coins and unlocking things. And I think that, to me, is what really makes the game special, because, you know, no one wants to turn the game on and have every character unlocked, because to me that's boring. I think to myself, I like the challenge of opening the game, and then you're like, all right, let's choose Raiden, and then you look around and you can't find him anywhere. And then you see a silhouette and you're like, oh no, I've got to unlock him. And I think that it's the challenge of finding how to unlock him, and then when you finally unlock him, those characters just feel that much more special and so much more, you know, fun to play as.
Yeah.
That's a really good point, because in MK versus DC universe, everyone was unlocked except for Darkseid and Shao Kahn, which I didn't like. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I don't think I said that, but I didn't like that. I'll be honest. I wanted to unlock characters like...
Same as Armageddon, there were only, 4 people to unlock or something?
Yeah, Meat, Taven, Dagon, and...
Blaze.
Blaze, yeah.
Blaze.
I thought that was pretty weak as well, because there's such a huge roster, and even if you finish Conquest, it didn't unlock everybody.
Yeah. Well, I'm just impressed by... I guess the smart moves. I mean, like I said, you know, the special moves being included alone was an incredibly smart move and homage to the early days. But like the challenge tower, I like the fact that, you know, if you get to a challenge and you literally, like, you just can't do it, you know, and there's going to be people out there that just can't do it, you have the option to buy that challenge so you can move forward. And I think that's really good, because it means that people aren't going to hit that wall and go, this shit, I'm never going to play this crap again. Sorry about that. But, you know, like, people do. People do in games. They hit walls in games and they're like, oh, no, this is too hard. No, I'm poor, man. Sorry. I can't get past this challenge. So, I mean, I'm not going to do that, because, you know, this is one of those games where I will...
You want to finish,
you know, some racing games I'll buy unlock packs for all cars or whatever, but because I don't have the time to sit there and do it. But for Mortal Kombat, I want to bleed the game. I really want to sit there and just have the thing frustrate me.
It's a game where if it's going to take 100 hours to finish, we love it that much, we will take those 100 hours. It's worth every minute.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think there's all these sort of question about the end game, the 300th mission. It's so hard, this challenge, and I'm thinking to myself,
shit my pants.
What exactly is it? If you actually look at the video IGN release, there's actually Goro and 2 other silhouettes, so maybe it's like an endurance match or something. But they talk about an incredibly awesome, thing you can unlock. And well, what falls under awesome? Is it a video? Is it can you put yourself in the game? Can you play as Ed Boon? What is it? What do you guys think?
I think that playing as Ed Boon would be cool, but playing as me would be even better. I think I should be in game.
The Australian version of Shang Tsung.
Throw beer bottles.
And you can.
Hey! Here's okay. All right. Just to, I don't know what's going to be at the end. I'm hoping that it'll be like a really awesome surprise. Like you'll get all, maybe you'll get like all boss characters. Maybe Motaro's in there, and you'll get like, Motaro, Goro, Shao Kahn, and God knows whoever else. All unlocked, but. Speaking of Shang Tsung, now, not many people talk about this, but Shang Tsung has been nerfed for quite a long time in quite a lot of games. Now, we are in an age where the consoles can handle the grunt, they can handle shape-shifting. Do you think Shang Tsung will have his morphs, and they're actually going to be done? Are they going to be button presses like the old days, or what? Do you think maybe they might utilise, say, L2 or L3 or something, and you can switch between?
I always thought it would be best for them if they were ever to go back to the morphing days, that they, there's probably a lot of stuff there that the consoles can't handle. Like they can't handle, all those character models and moves and stuff. But if they brought back the trilogy days where you could maybe choose 2 or 3 people to morph into, and then you maybe had like a set move, this move morphs into person 1, this move into number 2. Yeah, I think maybe that might work. But
I got a suggestion, but I don't know if it's feasible. The problem is they got to pull all the data off the disc, and they can't do it in time to change, especially when you got a DVD with encrypted data. But if they release some sort of USB stick or something with all the data on it, just so I could do it quicker.
Yeah.
Like, I think that'd be awesome. Imagine you got Mortal Kombat and a USB stick, you put that in and you can instantly morph like the old days.
Well, if you do it, like I said, where you choose a certain amount of characters to morph into, I think that would solve a lot of that problem. You get a little bit longer on the loading screen, but aside from that, I think that would, make the experience, feasible, and it would work.
But I think the problem is that they can't cache all the data, even on the loading screen. There's some stuff that has to be sort of on the spot.
Yeah.
And now that the models are real, you've seen the resolution of the models now. Like, it's like...
Yeah, they're very detailed.
Amazingly detailed. So, I don't know, like...
It's probably a good time to...
Whatever they need to do, get it old school, they should do it. Or even Chris's way, even if they could get 2 or 3 characters to instantly change so it doesn't upset the flow of the play.
It's probably a good time to point out that... the graphics in the original trailer actually look quite bad compared to what we actually saw at E3. They're a lot more detailed than that.
Yeah.
And a lot of the trailers, especially even the gameplay ones that come out, the blood is really toned down in them compared to the real game. I mean, in the game, it's almost like, someone's throwing a paint bucket around. It's ridiculous amount of stuff. It's like dripping off them. It's drying up on the floor. It's really, really bloody. It's like someone's throwing, tomato sauce or ketchup sort of everywhere. It's insane, but in the trailers you don't see that, and that's, I think, something that's going to put a smile on a lot of people's faces when they get their hands on the demo.
Yeah, I think they deliberately tone it down in the trailers so you can appreciate the rest of the graphics.
Yeah, probably.
I think that's one of the developer modes where they can probably like tone down the bladder effects or splatter effects, so you can see the characters, see the detail other than you see red everywhere, blood.
Did you guys see the living forest fatality? You can actually throw someone in the damn tree now, and they'll chomp on you.
I saw that.
That's awesome.
Huh?
Well,
I didn't.
I read. I actually saw somewhere on YouTube someone is actually, spoiler alert, someone has actually put up, apparently in this demo, there's a new trailer that they've released, and it's going to show, test your might, test your sight. It actually shows the crypt.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I can't remember what happens to the crypt, but it's something like
stop. Where's this living forestry fatality video? I haven't seen that. Where's this?
Kamidogu? Someone posted it? Or Twitter or something?
Was this leaked today or something? Because I've been as you know, I've been battling with the internet trying to do this chat, and I haven't had a chance to check anything yet, even my email.
I'll send you the link. There you go. There's the link there.
Cool. Was this today?
I think it was yesterday actually. Basically, it's like an iPhone type capture. Quite blurry, but you can actually make out stuff. I think it even shows Baraka. I think it's a fatality or an X-ray where he shoves his blade
into the head,
to your stomach, and then through your head.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I just
it's from Max or something. Oh, the crypt.
I just the other one of my favorite things about Mortal Kombat is character select screens. I just love character select screens. On my old channel, when I started sort of talking about potential characters and the select screen, that video got up to over 120,000 views. That's how much Mortal Kombat fans love character select screens, and who's on there and how it's all laid out and stuff. So
I love that subway fatality.
Yeah, that's isn't it mad? Holding the guy against
badass.
The tree.
Oh, there's the tree. Oh wow.
Isn't that
cool.
awesome?
So it's kind of like Shaolin monks, I think. When
Shaolin
you
monks.
throw them in.
That was actually a rumor. Did you guys know that?
Yeah, I think even you might have asked someone at E3 if that was a state fatality, and they just sort of looked at you and smiled and didn't really answer.
Yeah, they knew. I knew it was going to be in it. I actually thought, yeah, for sure, because I'd rather know about Shao Kahn's arena, or the Coliseum it's called now. I'd rather know if that's a fatality. That's got to be a fatality. You got to uppercut him back behind the throne, and that tormentor guy's got to rip him to pieces or something. I swear. But I just the Living Forest. I knew they'd already done stuff in Shaolin Monks. They would have had to have done a stage fatality. That one. Yeah. It looked really cool.
What I noticed with combat videos that have been coming out from GPC was the just the little details. Like when they were fighting the robots, when they're landing punches and kicks onto the robots themselves, there was that metal ding sound. Little details like that which are very cool. They make it authentic.
I found a lot of the arenas as well. In the background, I've seen birds flying around. There's people fighting in the background. In the Living Forest, if you actually play it, I think there's a guy against the tree and he vomits out bugs or something.
Yeah, that was one of my favourite things. Yeah. That was cool.
And even I think people have mentioned on the pit, you see the old Santa Claus or whatever it was fly past the moon. That's a bit of a rumour right now, but it's those things that get people excited.
No. I confirm it. I saw it at E3.
You can't believe anything that comes out of his mouth.
Can you believe this?
One of the stages, which is like a street stage, there's a big monster in the background that people are fighting. And they have cars, like you'll actually have cars driving past you. So that's got to be a fatality as well.
I've got a theory that the story mode that Tormentor is going to be involved in the story mode somehow, because I reckon that's something from story mode.
Yeah,
that's my hunch. All right, I just want to say a few things. Firstly, I want to say thank you to, I've forgotten his YouTube name, JMC Giverin. He actually sent me this headband, was the first to send me the headband. And of course, oh man, I've got a lot of crap here. My friend Ed Webb, who sent me the badge. He's the guy who makes those kick-ass Xbox faceplates. It's called Space Ghost 2K around the internet. I want to thank you guys for swagging me up.
I can't. You look like the Aussie version of Shane Sung, man. It's depressing.
Flawless victory. Your soul is mine.
Joker?
Good, Vietnam. See, Jean-Claude would allow the game to be released in Australia if he was in government.
Daniel Pacina stole his job, right? He stole his job.
He did.
Well, I think the other thing that's important as well is I think the guys should post whether or not they like the video. Should do more.
Johnny Cage can punch.
Sorry, my fans.
Johnny Cage can punch women in the vag now.
That's true.
In a video, and they get hurt too. So there's no more discrepancy of going, oh, nothing there.
I think his fish should get stuck, but that's just me.
Oh, dude. All right.
He's gonna have to cut that out now. You just put some beeps or sound effects over the top. That's all cool, Chris. But I think we should have an uncensored one.
Yeah. But yeah, I reckon everyone leave comments if you like this discussion. If you want us to talk about anything new, if you want us to do it like once a week or whatever, I think it's important that you guys let us know what you think. I think I've had a lot of fun. What about you guys?
Yeah. We've actually been trying to organise this for a while now, and I was really excited to do it. Actually, I think it'd be cool to get if we could get some American people. I'd love to do a webmaster chat, and get like Pat McCarran or people from what's his name from FDMK? Is it Joe?
Joe. Yeah.
It'd be cool if we could get a whole lot of MK webmasters and just sort of go crazy, you know.
That would be fun. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, see how we go.
Thanks very much for awesome chat.
Yeah, it's been fun. Awesome chat.
All right, and yeah, we'll catch up soon and leave your comments, and yeah, we'll see you soon for another video.
Scorpion wins.
You idiot.